he like has sex, like he's like possessing your body. That's like the best way I can describe it, which isn't for everybody. Everyone was like, oh, he's so intense. And I was like, oh, I'll show him intense.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to Hotter Ones, episode 8. We are joined today by the beautiful Elly. I'm so excited. All right.
8's my lucky number. So.
Ooh, 8, really? Mine's 7. Wait, what's your birth month?
January.
Are you Capricorn?
I am.
Ooh, you a hard worker. Every time somebody says that they're a Capricorn, I'm like, they grind. I know they do.
I do in multiple ways.
All right, getting right into it. Give us a little backstory, how you got into the industry that you're in now.
3 years ago, I started my OnlyFans. Before that, I did Twitch.
Ooh.
So I was streaming on Twitch, and then of course when you stream on Twitch and you are a feminine presenting person, people are like, when is the OnlyFans happening? And this was like right after the pandemic. I had lost both my jobs, and I was kind of like, fuck it, we ball. Yeah. Why not? And then I started pretty light, just like how most people do. And I was like, well, that way if I don't like it, then I can stop. Then I ended up really liking it, a lot.
Best job ever. We did some deep diving on you, and I've noticed you are not only just on OnlyFans, you do make some content elsewhere.
I do.
How'd you get into that?
So I also make content on PornHub. I post to X videos and things as well. And my story with that is kind of crazy. So PornHub has a model program. So anybody can sign up for it. So everything I do, I'm not paid by PornHub, an amount sum to make content for their account. I'm paid by views. Sure. So similar to YouTube, anyone, it's a tube site. Anybody can make content to put on that. And then not this last July, but the July before, I posted my first video, and I've been doing TikTok for a while and doing lots of social medias and things like that. But my fiance came up with the idea to make a video that was kind of more talking and teasing for the first little bit, and then putting a little bit of the XXX rated stuff at the end, and then putting the full video on a pay site. And so we posted this video, and we were on vacation in Mexico, and I go to refresh my profile, and 1 million views, 2 million views, 3 million views. It's just going up. My OnlyFans is going nuts. I was running everything completely myself. I actually still am running everything myself, but I didn't have anybody to help me send out content or anything like that at all. And these views are going up like crazy. And I'm like, what have I done? There is no going back. And so that video from last year ended up being the third most viewed on PornHub.
Come on now.
For the year, which was crazy. Oh my God. So yeah, from then on, I kind of built an audience there, and then that audience kind of trickles down to all my other social medias, which I think is great, because when you're marketing on something that's already oriented towards adult content, they're already there for that. Yeah. As a result of it, I feel like I get a lot less aggression on my socials, because people are already there with their dick in their hand.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like,
we all know why you guys follow.
Yes. No, it's true. As opposed to another way around, and the comments are more filtered and stuff like that.
For
so that's
sure.
Nice.
Oh my God. Okay. So when you first started doing on PornHub, I know sometimes when I'm going through my the For You page of PornHub, right when you log in, and I see one of those videos where it's starting to get so spicy, and then it goes black and it says subscribe to our OnlyFans. I'm always like, shit, I might have to. I've never been in a position where I'm maybe I will subscribe, but every now and then one of those videos gets me, and I'm like,
And I think there's a fine balance, because you want to show just enough that people aren't going to get angry. Yeah. You could come to it, right? Yeah. But then if it's a really good video, you might come to it and then keep thinking about the video and be like, you know what? I already came to that video, but I want to see more. But I want to see more. Yeah.
Oh my God. So smart. So what are the differences for you between when you post on PornHub and when you post on OnlyFans? I know you talked about how you kind of blew up there and it trickled over to your OnlyFans, but now in the position that you're in, what are the differences?
So the content that I post on PornHub is all role play content. And then, and I think all of the videos but one that are on my profile are with my partner. And there'll be other girls and stuff, but then I choose to keep my content that's my girl content, and then my content with other guys is all paywalled for right now. That's what works. But you have to keep some things exclusive.
Yeah. No, I
know.
feel that so heavily.
Yeah.
So you talked about how you're independent.
Yes.
So when you're shooting these videos, do you have a team, like a production team, or is it like the other person filming?
So all my stuff is like self-produced, self-filmed. The majority of my videos are with my partner. Yeah. So he films those. He's amazing. He's also an adult entertainer. And he has
Power
like his
couple.
own he also has his own branding. His name's Jackknife. The only man I will ever stand behind. And
Correct me if I'm wrong, you guys have been recently engaged.
we got engaged. Not this last May before.
Maybe before. Oh my god, so it's been a while.
Yeah, like year and a half.
How did you guys meet?
So we met going on 7 years now.
Oh my
ago through
gosh.
work. Yeah, which was not adult entertaining.
Oh.
So it was very vanilla jobs. And then we ended up meeting and really liking each other. And we were both in school at the time. So we took a couple college classes together.
Aww.
And yeah, we've been together a very long time. And he was really supportive. Like when I first started doing OnlyFans, he was very much so like, whatever you want to do, I back you.
He's a secure man.
Yeah, there's never been any sort of like issue or anything because I was doing it solo for a year. And then I asked him, I was like, hey, can I borrow your dick? And like, you help me do some stuff. And then on the 3rd year, I was like, you know what? You're so good with the people that we work with. And it kind of took the pressure off me a little bit for him to start his own branding. And he's so good at it. And then you double the money.
Exactly. You guys are literally a power couple.
Thank you.
So you guys both collab with each other as well as other people.
Yes.
Obviously, I would assume you prefer collabing with him.
Yeah.
But if he's not in the picture, are you more of like a fan of collabing with other men or other women?
Women. 100%.
Of course.
100%.
Of course.
And also, I don't know, I feel like I'm attracted to all genders. I'm attracted to people.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I feel like the dynamic, I feel like with feminine presenting people is a lot like safer and more calm, and you're able to go in and kind of have like a more like giggly fun time, especially if you're with another feminine presenting person who prefers feminine presenting people. Then it's like chef's kiss. I do think that different people bring out different qualities in yourself, and it also mixes up the content for your viewer. Because I've collaborated with some bigger name performers, and it's always like it's exciting, like, ooh, I'm getting the Johnny Sins experience.
Oh
like
my God,
that's
you
cool.
have?
Yeah.
There was one other girl that came on the pod. She talked about how she almost did it, but then the day of, she was like, "I'm so nervous."
Really?
How was your experience with him?
It was great, but I will say, like, just because my experience is super good, but he does have a very good reputation. Yeah. Like within the industry, but that man I don't know how to describe it. He like has sex like he's like possessing your body. That's like the best way I can describe it, which isn't for everybody. But I went into it knowing that, and I feel like that helped me like match his energy. Right on. Where I was like, everyone was like, oh, he's so intense. And I was like, oh, I'll show him intense.
I'll be more intense. Were you a dommy mommy for him?
Not exactly, but you did your meet him where he was at. Because the options are either you just kind of take it or you. Right on. Put on a show.
How do you keep the sparks within your relationship in the bedroom?
Yeah. I think keeping things like certain things special for just you and your partner. So having boundaries obviously is super important, but there's certain like role play kind of things that we'll only keep between each other. When people are like, oh, I lost my spark in the bedroom, it's like, well, you can also have sex to feel close to somebody else. Yeah. It doesn't have to be like a
performance every time. You perform elsewhere and then you just do when you're with him. Yeah. So I saw you were part of some panels and you've been to some award shows and that fun stuff. How was that experience for you?
Thank you for asking. This last January was my first time ever doing anything with like panels and awards. And that was crazy. It was crazy feeling, I guess, included with my peers and being an independent performer, being able to be alongside people who do more mainstream and be taken seriously, and people kind of seeing my vision and what I'm doing meant a lot. I think speaking on panels and things is always nerve-wracking.
Of course.
Yeah, but kind of going over what you want people to read from you and accept from you. And if you end up picking up a few awards along the way, then that rocks. And it's like I don't do things for awards. Yeah. But being able to have kind of like a physical representation.
Yeah, that's so cool. So when you're like making your own content, walk me through a day. Like get it from when you wake up to once the nut is off
It's
and
gone.
the videos are getting edited. How's that go for you?
It's always an interesting thing when I like talk about my own content with other performers, because I'm like, I wouldn't expect for you to have seen any of my content, but I make some kind of crazy stuff.
I've seen what you've posted on Twitter.
Yeah.
So
I'll
I've
do
seen
some teasing.
Yeah, stuff like that.
But I really like to make like really creative porn, because I like to give people a nut they're never going to forget. And it's like a creative outlet for me. So I've done different ones where there's dream sequences where the guy comes into a different dimension. I'm releasing I do a Halloween one every year. This year I have
The
3.
Goo-Goo.
The Goo-Goo. Oh my.
I'm up to date.
So, and that's kind of like vaguely based, or I'll get inspiration from like scary movies. And so that is vaguely based on a movie called The Stuff. And it's like in it, I'm like, you know, rubbing it all over me, and then it like overcomes me, right? And then I'm like, oh, like I've never been this horny in my life. So kind of like taking regular themes. So usually I'll have an idea. I don't script write or anything, but that's usually when I'm working with Jack, and he and I are really good at riffing. We could just go on forever, which is the benefit, I guess, from working with somebody that you
and
really
being
like.
that comfortable.
Yeah, because then I kind of am able to like say crazy things or whatever. So usually I'll have the idea of like what I'm doing in the morning. I'll prep. I like a slow morning. I like to be able to like get ready, not feel stressed. I'll take a morning bath. I know that sounds psychotic, but being in my like vibe and they're lighting a few candles.
I love a bath.
I love a bath. You know, being able to like eat my breakfast, have my coffee, get ready. And then for setup and stuff, usually we'll try and get props and stuff ready the day before. And then usually I try and film around 1. And it usually doesn't take too long. But it depends on what we're doing. You know, so because sometimes, you know, sometimes we've had to like rent a smoke machine or we set off the fire alarm. Then the fire department came, and then things get really thrown off.
Walk me through what you think your most creative porn video you've ever made, because what you've said so far, first of all, I've never heard somebody talk about the way that they make their content like that, and I think it's really cool that you find it such an outlet.
I'm either a genius or there's something seriously
no
wrong with it.
I think you're a genius. I think that it's really important, especially in this industry, because it's starting to get a little bit oversaturated, to have something that sets you apart from the rest of the girls.
And
so
that's fun.
you're like ahead of the game already on that. But what do you think is like your most crazy creative idea that most people wouldn't put porn and that topic
Let
together?
me tell you.
Lay it on me.
One of my favorites, it's called IoT, which is interdimensional orgasmic travel. And I made it with my friend Susie Steller. We came up with this idea that like if you were a guy and you like come so hard, you come into a different dimension. So when Jack is fucking me, he comes into a different dimension. He wakes up in the middle of like a field in the grass. And then he comes in, he knocks on my door, and in it I like am married to a woman.
Oh.
But she knows. She's like, I know exactly what this is. Like, and he's like, isn't this my house? And she's like, no, we have to like fuck him back to the other dimension.
Wait, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm like gonna watch your porn for educational purposes. I'm not gonna do anything weird to it.
There's that one. There's one where you like click an ad, like, you know, on PornHub, you always see the ads.
Of course.
And it's like, what if you clicked an ad that's like hot girls near you? And then a girl actually like appeared in your closet, puff of smoke.
Oh, that's so smart. Okay, so you're kind of like playing into more of like the sci-fi side.
Yeah, I like doing that, or like using really common porn tropes. Like there's one where I go into a washing machine, I get stuck in it, but then instead of like getting stuck in it, I keep going and I go into the washer void. And then I'm in this void and I talk to the washer machine god, and he's like, the only way you can get out is to fuck your roommate. And I'm like, I already thought he was cute, bet.
Seriously, like never have heard anybody doing that.
Thank you.
We should have a watch party all together, all of you guys. Let's watch Elly's porn. What do you think makes somebody successful on our platforms?
So if we're talking like short-term success, it can be, it's usually like a viral moment or, you know, getting an agency. You'll see a lot of the big like OF agencies.
The modern day pimping.
The modern day ones. And you'll see they'll have a new 18 or 19-year-old girl you know, every about 6 months, and that will be their it girl.
Yeah.
And then she'll pay her dues, and it just makes me feel so bad. It's kind of like the old school mentality of like a new girl turns 18 every day.
Yeah.
And then they get a new girl, and then she'll become the new it girl or whatever. I mean, that's when we're doing it.
Yeah.
But if we look at like long-term success and like happiness, I definitely think it's like what's going to make someone successful is doing what inspires them or makes them happy, because you'll be able to see that in the content.
100%.
I think in this era of like porn that we're making, what I really want to be a part of is making porn and making content that makes people feel good when they watch it. And they don't feel any sort of, they're like, oh, I can tell she really wants to be there.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
Right.
So having like a purpose, like why is it that you're creating, you know, when you're thinking long-term happiness, long-term mental health, long-term success, and like what about me sets me apart from other people? Like what's my thing? And your thing can totally just be boobs. Yeah. Your thing can be being really funny. Your thing can be, you know, like I give insane head, finding your niche. If you're a dommy mommy, right? If you're, you know, figuring out what that is and like what makes you happy and finding the happiness and inspiration behind it, I think is going to make anybody successful.
Yeah. It really did take me a while to find what my thing was. My eye-opening moment was when I met my boyfriend. He's so into Playboy stuff, and especially like vintage Playboy, and he had a lot of magazines, and one day I got bored and I went through and I was like, oh, this like if I have like a concept for every shoot, instead of just putting on whatever lingerie set I want and taking some selfies, like when we go through a shoot day, there's different sets. Like I will book out sets. The outfits are different. There's multiple different looks, and like that is how I set myself apart from the regular just selfies, blah, blah, blah.
And there is a market for everything.
That was a very good conversation. I think you're really cool.
I think you're really cool.
And I also I think it's special the way that you carry yourself, and you definitely are like gonna be a change within the industry for sure if you keep this up, and obviously you're doing great. So kudos to you.
Hats off.
We're gonna take a little break right now, and then we're gonna get it back into it. All right, everybody, we are now moving on to the Smash or Pass category, because I am Smashedly. So we're going to ask Elly some questions, and she could choose to answer them. But if she doesn't want to answer them, we remove an article of clothing. So we're going to get right into it. What is something you've tried in bed that you will never try again?
So this is starting so scandalous.
These are the spicy questions.
Everyone was always talking about like getting tinkled on, like a golden shower.
Yeah.
People are always like, oh, that's like a crazy thing of mine. And so I asked Jack to do it to me once, and then I just ended up laughing hysterically. It was so stupid. He was like doing it for like a really long time, and he like couldn't stop. Ew. And I was just like sitting there like hysterically laughing, and then he was standing there peeing on me, hysterically laughing, and then he finished it, and I was like, we're never doing that.
Girl, I've gotten one golden shower in my life, and it wasn't even like a golden shower. It was like I opened my mouth.
Yeah, I didn't me gasping. It's because I did it, and I was like, no, never again.
I don't know if I'd never do it again. I definitely wouldn't do it anywhere other than the shower, or maybe like in a lake or something, like somewhere where you could wash off right after.
Yeah.
But when the man is peeing on you and they have their peeing face and you could tell they're focused and they're like doing the little stand, I can't take it seriously. It's like,
you know what? That's the thing, is like I can understand a lot of times like why people might like certain things, but then I'll try it and then I'll be like,
degrading.
Not for me.
Yeah,
Not for me.
I think if you're into being degraded, it's a cool thing to try out, to get peed on.
Yeah. Not for me.
Yeah, I
think it's too warm.
I think that something that I've tried in the bedroom that I will never try again is wax play.
Oh, why not?
Well, you know how sometimes you get specific candles for it?
Yeah.
We just used like a Bath and Body Works candle.
No! What was the scent?
Endless Weekend.
Oh my.
My favorite one. And the candle had been going for a while. And he was like, oh, like we could use the candle that's been burning for the last 6 hours, thinking. And my idea of what wax play was like drip a little.
Yeah.
It kind of burns and you're like, oh, and it's like tingly. The candle was like all wax. So when he tried to pour a little, it literally like went everywhere. And I remember after taking it off, there's just like a big red area.
No.
And maybe I would try it again with somebody who is experienced, but I would never do it with somebody who is just like, oh, maybe we should try this, because it hurts so badly. Like,
there's like special candles that melt at lighter
temperatures.
Yes.
Has
Not
been
Endless Weekend.
like, it hurts so badly. And getting burnt is also kind of, it sucks, because it's like, if you hit yourself, and then it's like, ow. Getting burnt is like, ow for a while. Like, it doesn't just like stop hurting. No. It hurt. And then he was like, so can we still have sex? I'm like in the bathroom picking wax off me. I'm like, fuck you. No.
That was a bad idea.
All right, moving on to the next question. What is your favorite porn category?
You
could pass.
Could I pass?
We could pass. We could pass. I'm going to take off my shirt. I was smart and I wore a button up. You're going to have to take your headphones off. No,